Would you like to come forward? Derek Keenan, Secretary, Christchurch Estuary Association.
Good morning.
Welcome. It's the next one after, so it's not the University of Canterbury, so that it's the one after that. Yeah, page 60. Yeah. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you. Well, I put a submission in on behalf of the Christchurch Estuary Association, most of which we've done for the last number of years. That's only reinforcing some of those views. But I put some extra notes in last night that I could speak to and try and tie up the time, but the Estuary Association would dearly love to see the protection of the estuary edge through the South Brighton domain or park, whichever way you like to call it. And it really makes it up to putting it back to where it was. We seem to have been spending an awful lot of money on the coastal pathway across the causeway and round Beachville Road, and planned to spend further on Sumner through to Scarborough. There's also a plan for around Humphreys Drive, which is going to include reclamation into the estuary, which we object to unless there's some benefit in putting estuary waters, if you like, into another area to compensate for that. At the moment, I took a walking group over the coastal pathway 2 weeks ago, and in the time we were there, which was maybe half, 3/4 of an hour, there were 2 mothers on a pathway with their prams and 2 cyclists. The previous weekend to this past one, I had 2 days down at the yacht club at Pleasant Point, and on Wednesday afternoon we had our closing day. There's a constant stream of people walking through that pathway from the domain through to Caspian Street and further round and coming back. I wonder why they can't have their pathway reinstated to what it was before the earthquakes and before the erosion, all the erosion that's taken place. The erosion that's taken place is only pumping erodible materials back into the estuary and just settling there to literally build sandbanks and build up the bottom of it. And since there was an area designed for retention basins around different parts of the city and its outlying areas, we don't get the same flood surge down the rivers that would clear them and clear any material out. But unless we stop that erosion, the city's going to lose the assets that they've got in South Brighton. I really feel that some of the money that's being put into the coastal pathway and what's going to be spent around Humphreys Drive, a small portion of that could be spent down in South Brighton to protect that estuary edge and reinstate the pathway. We go on to the area of the rivers. The rivers are the main method of getting the city of Christchurch drained of stormwaters, floodwaters, and need to be kept clean and to the true depths as they were under the previous regime of a separate drainage board pre about 1980 88, 89 or something, they were taken over and absorbed into the council workforce. And what we'd like to see, the dredging of the Heskett River from the Woolston Cut to the Radley Park should alleviate some of the flooding further upstream, along with some bank modifications. But why is the cut only cleaned out to some 66 to 75% of the build-up of silt, etc. within it, and not returned to the design with width and depth that it was when it was built? When the old drainage board was there, we used to have a dredge running up and down the rivers, Heskett and the Avon, keeping the river width to what it was and the depth to what it was and should be. And wonder why that dredge is not back, which could also trim the banks of the river where there's this growth spreading out into the rivers of rushes, yellow iris, the noxious plant, and convolvulus that growing all through the rushes and just helping to virtually reduce the width of the river all the way along. But if the dredge was operating, it could be trimming those banks and returning them to what they were originally. The riverbanks, when you walk around if you like, the west side of the city, they're all trimmed nice and neat. As you get down around Avonside Drive, Humphreys Drive, to call the city a garden city would be very much a misnomer. The weeds, etc., that are growing around those areas are a disgrace to a city that calls itself a garden city.
Oh, sorry, sorry, that was the last one. I was actually quietly agreeing with you on your last point. Having been round to observe in the Heathcote area, it is disgraceful. But it's going to be got under control. Sarah and then Aaron, and if we have time, Yanni, but I doubt it.
Thank you. I just wondered if you were just talking about the South Shore area and the estuary protection there, and I'm just wondering if you were aware of the work that the Estuary Trust are doing on the naturalisation and stabilisation to stop erosion in that area, and their submission on the funding for that work to take place.
What do you mean the funding?
For naturalisation and planting along the South Shore estuary edge to stabilise it and stop erosion. So the Estuary Trust have put a submission in for that.
What I can gather from what the Estuary Association have gathered is that they want to shift the natural edge back maybe 50, 60 metres away from what is now the water's edge. What we say is we want the edge as it stands now to be virtually set up.
So you want an engineered, a hard edge?
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
But if you keep getting this erosion, erosion's going to keep going into the land.
That's right, yeah.
And anywhere you walk, people want to walk around the water's edge.
That's right.
They don't want to walk 50 or 60 metres further away from it.
Yeah.
And what one council member or council staff member told me, oh yes, that if we shift the path back, we can put small finger pathways into the water's edge.
Yeah.
I think, well, that's not what people want. They want to actually walk the water's edge.
Yeah. And just a quick point on your comment on the coastal pathway. I just wondered if you realised that even at low tide, when the estuary is mostly empty of water and South Shore is completely, hundreds of metres away from the water, that even all the way along Beachville on the other side of the estuary, the water laps at the edge 24 hours a day, and right up against council assets such as roading. Yeah, and so that's one of the reasons there's that main difference there.
We were told that the rock wall they built across the causeway would stay there. There'd be no migration of rocks out into the water. Yeah. So we walked there 2 weeks ago, and there were abundance of rocks that had migrated out off that protective edge. Right. Now, whether that's from people looking for...
There's quite a lot of people going in there looking for shellfish.
But we were told it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
As a yachty, rocks underwater aren't a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's why they had the deeper edge that was approved around there as well.
Anyway, that's enough time. Thank you. Look, thank you very much for coming in, and thank you for your submission. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we move on now to Josh Proctor? And I see you have a team here from the University of Canterbury Students Association. Well, we might as well do them and then have a 10-minute break. Yeah. Come through. Come forward. Yeah.